Hello everyone, welcome back on my channel. Today I'm going to discuss things that you should know before marrying Palawan. And also I'm going to give a little bit of comparison, a little bit of information on the Philippines as well. And these things that I'm going to discuss are mainly based on my experience as a Filipina Palauan spouse here in Republic of Palau. First of all, you have to be single, or at least legally separated back in the Philippines. Because in the Philippines, we don't have any divorce, and it is very important that you have some documents that you're going to show later on when you are going to register your marriage here in Palau back in the Philippines. And the advantage of it, if you're going to register your marriage here in Palau in the Philippine government, is that when you are planning later on for a visit, or you're planning to move back in the Philippines for good with your family, your Palawan husband can be granted a residence visa, and he can stay for a long time. But if you're not going to register it, it's okay as well. It depends on how you talk to each other about these legal matters. Because if you don't register it back in the Philippines, it means that you remain single in the Philippines. And once you bring your husband with you to visit Philippines, the immigration will only going to let your husband to stay as a tourist. And it will be granted for at least 6 months. You can extend it on a limited time only. Unlike if you are registered back in the Philippines, your husband can get a residence visa. Certificate of no marriage is very important, because once you registered your marriage here in Republic of Palau in the government of the Philippines, usually they look for that documents. So the next thing that you're going to do once you have all your documents done back from the Philippines, then you apply here in the Supreme Court in Republic of Palau. You're going to get a form and you're going to pay as well. And for me, I remember it was my mom-in-law, my mother-in-law, who paid for it. I think she paid like $100. I'm not really sure how much it is right now, but there's a certain fee when you apply for marriage here in Republic of Palau. And once you fill it up, everything is done. You put your schedule, and then you just wait for them to call you when it's approved on that certain date. Okay, I will give you a comparison back in the Philippines. There are also many ways on how to get married in the Philippines. Like, it's the same thing here in Palau. Here in Palau, you can also get married in the church or in the Supreme Court. So in the Philippines, we also have some different ways on how to get married. You can marry in the church, you can marry in the court, and also if you belong to a certain tribal group back in the Philippines, the tribal leader can also initiate the marriage. And also if you want to just get married in the city where you want the mayor of the city to initiate the wedding, the marriage, you can also do it, and it's also legal. So we're talking about here in Palau. Most of intermarriages are same back in the Philippines. The only thing that we don't have in the Philippines is divorce. And here in Palau, they do have divorce. So after you get married here in Palau, like for me, I got married in the Supreme Court. And it doesn't really take a long time during the ceremony inside the Supreme Court. You can see it on my video, one of my video here in my channel. You can check it down below. After the wedding, we usually have a celebration in the family house, or if you prefer in the restaurant here in Palau. It depends on how the couple likes their wedding celebration will be done. So for us, we have our celebration done in the family house, where most of my friends are present, and also most of my husband's family was there as well. I always have a frequent question after getting married about the living condition between the couples here in Republic of Palau. Very practical here in Palau. Once you're married to a Palawan, to move back in the family house as long as the family is open for it. And it's up to your husband who's going to talk to the family if you can stay in the family house. So the next thing that you have to know when you're married to a Palawan, it's either are you gonna be staying in the family house, or you're gonna be staying outside, or you're gonna be renting. Well, it's like most of the country, it happens. Like in the Philippines, you can stay with your family if your family permits it, or you can have a rental house, a rental home. If your husband back in the Philippines is well off, then you can have your own house. Or if you have your own house by yourself, you can also bring your husband with you in your own house. Here in Palau, it's also the same. And after our wedding, me and my husband, we live outside the family house. But later on, when I'm almost going to have birth with my son, we moved back in the family house. First, it was a little bit strange for me because I'm not used to live in the family house. Even in the Philippines, when I finished my school and I found my job and I was working already and I have enough money to build my own house. I have my own house back in the Philippines. But here in Palau, we live with our family. I find it a little bit scared in the first place. I was a little bit shy most of the time and I don't feel like I belong. But after a while, when we stayed in the family house, I was wrong. There's nothing really to be nervous about because I find it, the family of my husband, they are very welcoming to us and they treat us like a family as well. And I really felt it. And that's one thing that I will say that I'm so grateful that my husband family, they are so welcoming to me. And that's one thing that you have to know when you're married to a Palawan. But as what they said, it will take two to tango. My husband is very patient with me. And I'm also the same thing, I'm very patient with him. So I'm happy living with our family, and it's also a very big help for us, especially living here in Palau is so expensive, and getting your own house, it will take a lot of money. And living in the family house, it gives us a big help as well. And it will build a closer tie with your family of your husband. It's not easy to live in the family house, but for me, it wasn't difficult at all. I felt accepted and I felt I belong. And I know the family of my husband, they are really kind people and they accept me of who I am and they accept my child as well. I think it's similar most of the intermarriages that we have here in Asia. There's nothing really wrong living in the family house, especially here in Republic of Palau, because this is a common practice here in the island. And as what they said, it will take two to tango. As a couple, you really have to talk about it. If you have any problem or any things that you don't agree of, as a husband and wife, you really have to talk about it. Having a very long patience is a must. And that's your armor when you're living in a foreign country. I think most of us will agree about it. There are also some things that you have to bear in mind. Like when you live in the family house and you're a foreigner, because I'm Filipino, there are some things that you don't practice back home. And when you're in a foreign country, there are some traditions and beliefs and practices that you also have to go with, especially when you're a Palawan spouse. So here in Palau, they have some traditional practice that you also have to participate. I don't have any problems with it. It's not an easy task, but it's not difficult to do because even in the Philippines, if you're living with your family, you still have some adjustment. And it's the same here in Republic of Palau. All you have to do is learn how to respect their beliefs, their tradition, and you know how to adjust with each other. And then you don't have any problems. So the next thing that I'm going to share is what's gonna be your visa status here in Republic of Palau once you're married to a Palawan. Mostly in some countries, you can apply for a citizenship or for landed immigrant status. But here in Palau, it's not the same. In my case, before I got married here in Palau, I was working in one of the company here, and my visa is under to that company. And during the pandemic, our company is temporarily closed, and my visa permit is going to expire. So I've decided to change into a spouse visa. And having a spouse visa is not that easy, unlike before, that you only have to bring your marriage certificate and you can apply for a spouse visa. But nowadays, they changed the procedure in applying for a spouse visa. You really have to bring your Palawan husband with you when you applied for it, and they will set a schedule that they're going to interview you guys. If you're really a couple, you really have to prove of how much longer you stay here in Palau, if you're living together, or if you have children with you. Because there are some people that they only married through papers, but they're not living with each other. And that's one thing that the immigration of Palau, that they are avoiding, to have those fake marriages here in Republic of Palau. Spouse visa is valid for 5 years. And as a dependent to your husband, you are not allowed to work anywhere. When you decide to work again, you really have to go another process in the immigration. You have to change your status into a working permit, which you have to pay a certain amount. I know it's $500 for a change status, and you're gonna lose your spouse permit and you will use a new permit for working. So another thing that you have to know, it doesn't mean that you're under spouse permit. You can use the insurance of your husband, like for example, the medical insurance of your husband, to cover you if you're going to be hospitalized or if you're going to a certain medical conditions. But here in Palau, if you were working before and your MSA, your medical insurance, it's still active, as long as you have funds on it, you can still use that one. And you can also use your husband's medical insurance, as long as he will report it in the tax office and put your name on it, so you will be under his coverage. And that's what happened with Joseph and I. Even though I still have my insurance from my previous MSA before, he put us together with his health insurance. So that's the things that you have to know before marrying a Palawan. There are some things which are different in every country, and nothing is a perfect relationship. All you have to do is you make it perfect in your own little way. And at the end of the day, you can ask yourself if you're happy. And prayer is a very big weapon to achieve all those dreams that you have. I believe that we have our own choices. If you're suffering for any abuse and you don't know how to get out of it, there are some people you can call, or there are some people that you can talk to about it. And you know, don't get drowned with what situation you have right now and you don't know how to get up. There's always hope in everything that you do. And always pray, nothing impossible with God. Humility, also is a very good thing to learn as well. And you have to be submissive in a relationship. Learn to respect each other's culture. Love one another. And always be patient. Because patience is a virtue in every relationship. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy my vlog for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you like to join my channel membership is already open. Please join my membership. Thank you, and see you on my next vlog. Peace to everyone.